Hey everyone, it's Reason here.
And Vice.
Yep, and Vice, to bring you a little message before our meeting. I would like to remind you that these are our personal opinions and as such will differ from yours. We do not claim any expertise.
Except me.
Except Vice. We are simply expressing our ideas and feelings as fellow fans and readers. Furthermore, we would love to see you point out your own ideas and feelings below.
Do we really?
Well, I certainly do. So long as you keep it, and I cannot stress this enough, civil in the comment section.
Or else I get a hold of you, and we don't want that.
We really don't want that. I can't keep paying bail, guys. Now, without further delay, please enjoy the following episode of the Anivid Fanfiction Book Club.
Let's get going. Welcome to the pilot of the Anivid Fanfiction Book Club. I'm Vice, and I am the harsh reality that is to come your way.
And I'm Reason. I'm that cushy childhood memory you have. I would like to say, we're starting this podcast series for one big reason.
I was forced here.
Okay, maybe two big reasons.
We were kind of bored.
Vice, come on, we could do this all day.
We can do this all day.
But we're not going to, because I'm going to tell you my reason for wanting to start this is because when people have book clubs and discussions about books, they have been through the ringer by editors and publishers. Sometimes they can change an author's idea completely. And they also want them to be as polished as they possibly could in what they want, in what their idea of polished is. Now, when it comes to fanfiction and other works people post online, it's a little different.
Well, it's all about the porn. That's most of what it is.
While you're not wrong about that, there is more than just smut fiction online.
True.
But the big thing I'm getting at here is that those are all forms of self-publishing. And while you can have a friend read it or even hire someone to look over it and edit it, there isn't a huge and hard process to become a fully published author by a big company. You just post what you want online.
Many different sites support it.
This is very true. You can literally put it almost anywhere that allows you to post on anything.
Yeah, as long as you don't claim it as your own.
We wanted to make this podcast series to not only discuss popular stories about shows.
There are other forms. There's anime, books, cartoons, comics, games, music, players, movies, and TV shows.
As you can see, literally anything. If it's out there, someone could write something about it in what they want. But we wanted to make this to help people who want to write and write better. And while we aren't experts by any means, well, I know I'm not.
No comment.
We can still give our own opinions and advice on what keeps our interest and what we find good and bad as the consumer. In a sense, we wanted to make sure that we can all grow and become better artists and authors. Now, on to the next point, explaining what fan fiction is. And honestly, I'll leave that to my resident expert here, Vice. Take it away.
So fan fiction, also known as fanfic or fic, is fiction about characters or settings from an original work of fiction, created by fans of that work rather than its creator. It is a popular form of fan labor. It's basically been there since the internet. There are different sites that you can post to get your fan fiction out there. There's Wattpad, fanfiction.net, for some god-awful reason, Tumblr, and also DeviantArt.
Now, on to the setup of how this is going to go. You see, whenever we have a meeting, it'll be set up in two parts. The first part will be introducing the story that we plan to read and discuss the next time we're together. That happens at the end of the episode before the actual discussion episode. This includes reading a summary, if one's available, and our own speculation about what we think is going to happen. We'll of course be leaving a link in the description to make sure you can read it too before we discuss it.
And if you've already read it before, no spoilers.
Very important, no spoilers. But to be sure, there will be spoilers in the next coming part, which happens to happen at the beginning of the next episode, when we go back, revisit the summary and what we had to say, and then discuss what actually happened. How close we were to our speculation, and also have a general discussion about the story. including what we liked, what we didn't like, what critiques we could give, where their strong suits lie. Basically like a real book club meeting. And after that's done, we go to the next story. At the end of the episode, as said before, we open up a new story with a new summary and our new speculation. Wash, rinse, repeat. I think that wraps up the main part of this episode, which leads us to the end part, which is where we introduce the next story we'll be discussing, which happens to be our very first as well. That is Tragedy. Arrow emoji, Dean Winchester. It actually has an arrow emoji.
We're not joking on that.
Honestly, I want to know how they managed to put an arrow emoji in the title. That's just what I want to know.
I think it's awesome.
That story is written by the wonderful Smolder Holders on Wattpad. And as I said before, the link is in the description.
The summary is, show me a hero and I will write a tragedy. It looks like it takes part in season 1 through 3 in Supernatural.
It also says that it happens to be book 1 of an Emery Wilson series, which is an interesting thought. Makes me think that we're probably going to see a story where someone made their own character and then inserted it into the canon.
Yeah,
now, I wonder
I'm pretty sure of that.
If they're going to follow beside the Winchesters, or if they're going to almost like have their own story as they're traveling along and happen to run into the Winchesters a bunch of times.
I feel like it'd be that they are going to run into the Winchesters, because you can't really have Supernatural without the Winchesters. So it is highest ratings, 30th in Fanfiction and number 4 in Supernatural.
Wow, that's really popular.
Yeah, it looks like it. It's had 450k readers.
That is really impressive.
It is. We are so grateful that they are actually letting us do this, and they were so grateful that they are actually the first story of our podcast.
Can't be helped. I mean, how could we not get to it? Sounds awesome. And how many parts or chapters did you say this was?
Let's go to the table of contents. The table of contents has about... Dear Jesus.
What are you looking at there?
Basically just the table of contents. I think it was like 40-something.
So that's a hefty story.
It's a very hefty story.
That's some serious dedication, that's for sure. I can't wait to read this.
I know. They're also in the table of contents. The last one is Note, sequel. So we might be able to do a sequel later on.
Oh, that'd be exciting. They did say it was book 1 of the Emery Wilson series. Yeah,
they did say book 1 of the Emery Wilson series. So it's fan fiction. It has action. It has angels. Because Castiel came in at season 4.
Mm-hmm.
The only angel that was there, spoilers, sorry, was Gabriel, or the Trickster. Sorry, spoilers. But,
I'm sure they'll find a way to put it in. I mean, I don't see why they couldn't have an angel. Maybe they're making just a reference that something miraculous happens and it can only be pinned on an angel, and it's like, oh, I get that.
Okay, I'll give them that one. So, it's Dean Winchester, demons, Emery Wilson, ghosts, romance, supernatural, vampires, Sam Winchester, Dean Winchester.
So it just sounds like a solid story. That's what you would expect. Although it makes me wonder what we're going to see in romance.
It does make me wonder what we're going to see in romance. It's either there's many possibilities here, and
with a name like Tragedy and then an arrow pointed directly at Dean Winchester, I have a feeling we're going to see some pain.
Most likely, especially with the Show Me a Hero, I Will Write a Tragedy. It has to be something with most likely Dean, because in Super.
They can't happen to Emery because this is book 1 of their series. So
Unless it does happen to Emery, but it's not too much of a tragedy. Different things could be tragedies. It could be a family member dies, or you get in a car accident, or it doesn't have to go around death.
Well, you just said that a family member dies and then a car accident.
Well, it could be like something bad, but like it doesn't mean that you die, because that would be a tragedy too if you died, because your life is dead.
It's over. But that holds no power in Supernatural, as we've seen. Spoiler alert, but everyone knows.
Spoiler alert, everyone knows. The only thing is that me and Reason here have not finished season 11, because someone doesn't have internet.
Hey, don't throw me under the bus like that.
Well, you didn't have to buy a ticket, but I got you one.
And with that, everyone, we'll be back within 2 weeks at most with the next episode and our discussion. Be sure to click the subscribe button and become a member of the Anivid Fanfiction Book Club. If you have any suggestions for any stories that you want us to read and review, please feel free to send us a message. But be aware, we do ask for permission with every story we intend to read, so if the author doesn't feel comfortable doing so, you can't pressure them into doing it. Do you have anything else to say, Vice?
Not that I can think of right now. I'm just waiting for the story.
That's fair. And with nothing else to say, then, this is Reason.
And this is Vice.
Signing off.